Hey everyone, this is Ian Hart, and welcome to Railroad News and Solution. Today we're going to talk about the freight railroads and what we can do about this. But first, let's get to some news. Recently, we just heard a BNSF train crashed into a truck on the Metro BNSF line. That's not good. You never should have that ever. And I got good news for the Blue Line too. Finally, the cantilever is staying, and there's adding additional crossing for additional safety to make the gate arms much longer, so the cars do not have to go around the gates. And they're adding, and good news, the U.S. Electronic on Park Avenue is okay, and it's fixed, and they finally got the new batteries. They put new batteries in, and it's really good news. So we do have we still have that dead U.S. Electronic at 7th Street. I have not heard anything about Bland Street and 7th Street yet, but I will hear it in a couple minutes. As soon as annual maintenance comes in, that means the Blue Line will shut down for that. That will be sometime in October or September, but for that time, yep. And good news, so we just have bad news about that Texas Central is finally canceled off because the Trump administration is canceling things up, which I do not like. Just that administration at all. Which I do not like what they're doing. And then Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner resigned now, which is not good. Amtrak's going to look for a new CEO in order to get their projects done because the Trump administration were doing that because Trump is the new president and I do not like him, whatever he is doing. Yeah. Oh, and then he is also going to plan to cut off California High-Speed Rail, which is not good, which we really do not. Also, another good news. We just saw an Amtrak we just revealed some footage of Amtrak Aero on Cascades at Siemens Mobility, which is really a good thing, because now let's get to problems and solutions. It's time for solutions now. Let's get started. So, first we're going to talk about the problems with freight railroads, what are happening. So, freight railroads, let's talk about, first we're going to break down the platform. We have the eastern ones. Those are Norfolk Southern and CSX. Those are the class 1 freight railroads. They are great things. See, Norfolk Southern has those lights on top of their wide cab G locomotives. They have those lights. Those are on the AC-44s and the GEVOs, which Norfolk Southern has those lights on their locomotive. Another thing you notice about Norfolk Southern is it's got really nice horns though. It's got really good horns though, to keep it as a warning. They only do gate sprinkle, but they have really some gate crossing. They also operate, they can operate passenger railroads too, which is mostly operating Amtrak, I have a video on that, so be sure to check that out on my review. But we're not going to talk about Amtrak today, we're talking about the freight railroads. The freight railroads, they both use diesel electric locomotives. CSX, however, has a really good paint scheme. They recently did heritage units, which are really nice. Now, one of the problems with freight railroads is they have to carry a lot of heavy loads, and they have to wait several hours at a railroad crossing because they have a lot of grade crossings they have to deal with, and they have to have their horns or be in a quiet zone. Those are the eastern freight railroads. That would be more like train talk about. We're talking about class 1 freight. One day I'll have an episode on that talking about the class 1 freight railroads, talking about freight railroads and what they are from. I'll probably First, I'll do eastern ones first. The eastern ones. Then I'll do western. And then I'll do Canadian ones. And Canadian ones. And there's also Canadian National and Canadian Pacific Kansas City, also known as CPKC. Here, really so nice. And one of the things I like about those are Canadian. And they both have almost in common with all the big platform freight roads meet in Chicago, Illinois. They all meet in Chicago, Illinois. Which is so nice. They all meet in Chicago. They all meet in Chicago, Illinois. Because Chicago, Illinois is more like the capital railroad city. The railroad capital city, they call it, because it's a really good city, however. Another problem is they have to have DPUs in the middle, which a DPU is really good actually, because it helps with the middle loads of a freight train, because it will help with distributed power units. There are also no distributed power units. I have an episode talking about DPUs. talking about DPUs on Train Talk, so be sure to check that out. And so when you hear a DPU, they help pull longer freight. This is mostly the rear DPUs can be common on Norfolk Southern, TSA, BNSF, and Union Pacific. We also lower the Western, BNSF and Union Pacific. Those are the Western class of freight railroads you have. They operate major passenger railroads in California and all the way through. Many railroads have to deal with those. We see many derailments on railroads, which we have to fix that. What we should do is improve. Make sure chemicals are not spraying out. They should have chemical-less cars. They should have the chemicals out of the cars. And what they should do is try to eliminate any fires from happening on the. Also, improve the railroad crossing. Eliminate a couple at a time. Just do some grade separation, but grade separation is very expensive. I have a rail distribution on railroad crossings, so be sure to check that out. Make the gates longer and make sure that that your cars are away from the tracks and wait for them. Freight trains also take a very long time railroad crossing. It's hard for me to film them when I do my videos. I have a freight train video on Norfolk Southern, but I don't have any more freight train videos yet. But I'll have some more soon. If I have time, I'll get some more freight trains. But when I go to Chicago one day, I am going to be filming Metra and Amtrak, definitely. And I'll definitely film the freight trains here. I'll definitely film some freight trains in Chicago. And I'll definitely go to different times. One day I am going to go to Ohio to film trains. Which I definitely want to go to that Diamond. And I'll definitely want to go to Plant City, Florida one day to film CSX and Amtrak, which would be so nice if I filmed both of those trains in Florida. Which I have an Amtrak playlist. I have Amtrak videos, so be sure to check those out as well. Now, what other things we should do with freight train? Now, one day I'll have your own illusion about the types of trains you should have on railroad trains. Then one day I'll do one on commuter railroads, and then I have another one I'll do on high-speed rail on different. I already did one on Brightline and Brightline West, but I'll do one on a different one, like California high-speed rail and Texas Central and the other high-speed rail corridors. That would be a good thing. And one day I am going to do one on light rail lines, which I will do one on light rail lines and see what solutions I'll get to light rail lines one. And I think I'll have more of those coming out soon. But I have to have time to get those videos done. But we have other stuff we need to talk about freight railroads. Another solution we should give. Make sure you have enough locomotives on your train. Do not have one. One is not enough. You should have either 2, 3, 4, or more locomotives to help with the train. Because you need more power to deal with the freight railroads. Sorry about that. You should also have more power to you should also have mid DPUs in the middle, and then you should have. Now, there's many types of freight trains you can get. Also, eventually, these features coming for freight railroads too. Electric locomotives diesel is going to be slowly phased out. Diesel, I have a problem with diesel, right? Diesel is a really big problem to the atmosphere. It's not good, and it causes greenhouse gas emissions too, which is not good. Eventually, there's going to be battery-powered electric freight locomotives pretty soon, because we're going to have electric rail. That means they'll be eliminating more catenary wires, some grade separation, and eliminating some railroad crossings as well. Eliminating some grade and a significant grade crossing elimination. They'll eliminate some grade crossings. There is a bill that's going to help eliminate grade crossings, because grade crossings will be a great thing to be eliminated, but grade crossings we don't want to eliminate, because we'll eliminate some grade crossings, but we'll have some. But grade crossings are going to have a big closing gate with a little barrier that will help with America's railroad crossings to improve them. Next, there also will be other stuff that's going to happen on railroads pretty soon. New stuff's coming to railroads very soon. We have a new thing. All these classroom freight railroads must have a solution. Another solution I would give classroom freight railroads is make sure you have more horn zones and a couple quiet zones. And some more quiet zones and more horn zones should be added as extra safety. eliminate some needs for horns. Only use a horn in an emergency. There will be some quiet though, or some freight railroads are gonna have to put quiet. When new lines come in, they're gonna have to deal with that. Also, you should also make sure you make your yards bigger. Make the freight yards bigger so you can have more, because there needs to be more room for more cars. Like that old area of the Amtrak station it would actually be perfect for the freight railroads. Would actually be perfect for freight railroads to deal with. It would be perfect for the freight railroads. It would make it perfect. You can actually have more of that, tore down those platforms, make more tracks, and make a yard, which would be great for the railroads. Turn that into a freight yard, which would be so nice. Turn that station into a freight yard, which would be so nice if you just turn that in. Gateway Station should be open soon, which should be okay for the Norfolk Southern should add that. And then diamonds are really good for the freight railroads too, because you can add more diamonds. Because I have a road diamond river crossing episode of Train Talk, so be sure to check that out as well. And I have lots of issues. I do. Now, there are some other railroad news I should get to. And that's it for the solution. That's all the solutions I can give for freight railroad. And otherwise, the future is coming for freight railroads pretty soon, like more electric for freight and passenger railroads. And pretty soon, diesel locomotives will officially be phased out, scrapped, and a couple will probably go to museums. Definitely some of them will go to a museum to be preserved. It will be preserved in a museum. And some will definitely go to course railroads to be used. While others will probably still remain on the railroads for at least, they're still going to remain on the railroads for many more years to come until they're officially gone. They're still going to remain on the railroads for many more years to come. They're not going to go away for a while. They're not quite ready for retirement yet. But anyway, that's all I can give for freight railroads. Now, let's get to railroad news. Now, let's get to some more news on the railroad. Next, we found out more Amtrak is doing more ATP8s into compound control units. One day I saw a shell of an Aerotrain coming out when it was delivered, probably going to be built for Amtrak Aero, which is nice. Amtrak Aero has not entered service yet, but the Cascade sets will enter first, but then later on they'll do the Northeast Corridor sets. Those should be entering very soon as Siemens finishes them. And Amtrak Piedmont has not gotten new equipment yet, but they are expected to get new equipment soon to replace its oldest fleet of F-59 diesels and cars that they've had in the 50s and 60s. And that's all I can think of. And this is a great railroad solution to talk about freight railroads and how they should deal with all types of solutions. Now, we do have more Trade Talk episodes coming out soon, but I've not started those yet. Then we do have more, what else? Then we have more Link Light Rail videos. Eventually I'll have more freight train videos, and I'll have more episodes of Railroad Solutions soon. And definitely I'll have, and also pretty soon I will have some videos in Amsterdam soon, so be sure to check that out. I have more European videos coming out soon on the London Tube. Probably definitely lead the Amsterdam tram. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for watching the episode of Railroad Solution for a look at Class 1 freight railroad, for a look at the freight railroads in the U.S. If you have any thoughts, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Until next time, I'm Ian Hardy, I'll see you on the line, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, bye-bye.